I am going to say delusional because at the end of the day, there is still a chance for the St. Louis Blues to make the playoffs. And until that day is 100% a no, I am still going to believe that this team has what it takes. Maybe they don't, maybe they do, maybe they will surprise us all and define the odds. The odds are not in the favor, which we know, but hey, big game tonight against the Flames. I'm going to tell you more about it coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about the St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. St. Louis, today is a big game for the Blues as they're hosting the Calgary Flames tonight for a 7 p.m. puck drop. The Blues need to continue the push, okay? You had an OT loss against the Golden Knights. Yeah, that sucked. No doubt about it. But right now, you still have a slim chance of making the playoffs. And honestly, you can say, I'm being delusional. You can say whatever you want to say. But in hockey, anything can happen. So you truly don't know. And the Blues have done this before to where they've kind of defined the odds a little bit. You think about when we won the Cup and how they were the last team in the Western Conference in January. So while there is a 4.3% chance that the Blues will make the playoffs, it's not 100% no. That's how I'm going to look at it. Also, keys to victory tonight against the Flames. So a lot to discuss today on the pregame show. I do want to let you know, though, before I dive any deeper, that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, so a big game for the St. Louis Blues as they are hosting the Calgary Flames. And the Flames are a very beatable team. I do believe that. It's just more of who wants it more. And I feel like St. Louis does because they know that they need to win 100%. So yesterday, I reported the news that unfortunately Oscar Sundqvist will be out for the remainder of the season due to a torn ACL, which he will need surgery on. So Sonny will not be in the lineup going further, and they look to reevaluate Sundqvist within about the next 6 months. So it gives him plenty of time to rest, plenty of time to heal, and hopefully he will be good by the start of this upcoming season, which sounds so weird to say because we're not done this season. But again, I just want to reiterate that the reason why Oscar Sundqvist, if you haven't heard the news, is not in the lineup, it has nothing to do with how he's played. I know that he was healthy scratched about a week ago. It has to just do with the fact that Oscar Sundqvist needs surgery on his ACL because it's torn. Oh, I get the heebie-jeebies when I think about that. Oh, which I do not like getting. Does anybody else get like the heebie-jeebies? Oh, not good. All right, let's talk about the lineup and not about the fact that freaks me out. So for our first line, we have Robert Thomas. It's a little bit different tonight. And he will be winged by Pavel Buchnevich and Jake Neighbors on the right. Then Braden Shen's back centering his line. And he will be winged by Brandon Saad and Jordan Kyrou. Then on the third line, we have Kevin Hayes. And, who is this? It's Zachary Bolduc and Alexei Turchenko. On that fourth line, Zachary Dean was recalled, so he will be centering that line, winged by Nathan Walker and Kasperi Kapanen. On defense tonight, we have Nick Leddy and Colton Parayko, Torrey Krug and Matthew Kessel, Scott Perunovich and Jay Folk, and Binnington. But I will say right now, just keep an eye on Torrey Krug. It is going to be an in-game decision. So that's what it looks like as of now. It will be an in-game decision. So we'll see when they hit the ice. So right now, it's about 5 o'clock. Nothing is confirmed yet about Torrey Krug and if he will be playing or not tonight. I'm going to go ahead and say, hypothetically, if he is playing tonight, And right now it looks like that. Okay. I'm having my smoothie. Okay. I'm going to pull up some comments. I just hope Sonny has a safe and healthy recovery. Also, McNabb for not getting a fine or suspension on the play. Yeah, I mean, the way that the skate went, I could see both sides, but McNabb is such a dirty player. The Vegas Golden Knights, and I've said this for quite a while, they're just a very dirty team, and they're a team that just doesn't break the rules, but breaks the rules, if you know what I mean. And for those that are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts or anything, I did quotations when I said about breaking the rules because a lot of the things that they do are technically legal in the NHL. It's just very suspicious. It's like borderline, like you're almost pushing it. And that's how the Golden Knights are. Mars says, I want them to make the playoffs, but at this point, I think it would take a miracle. And that's a valid statement. Listen, right now, where the Blues stand, they have a 4.3% chance of making the playoffs. You really need to hope for a Vegas downfall. Which do I think the Golden Knights are going to do? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I don't think so. You're asking for the Golden Knights to realistically win only a couple games and the Blues to win all of their games remaining. And the Knights do have one game up on St. Louis. So, one game less than St. Louis. But I think that at the end of the day, if the Blues focus, if they just focus on themselves, they're not thinking about Vegas, they're just focusing on the Blues, very well a miracle could happen. But we've seen crazier miracles in hockey before, right? I know the odds are against St. Louis. I get that. And I understand that. And it's infuriating. If you think about how the playoffs work, and I kind of laugh out loud when I think about it this way, like half of the teams make it, half of the teams don't make it. So Darkness says Vegas does not have one game less compared to St. Louis. Yeah, because they played the game the other night, and that completely slipped my head. I keep on, it feels like a very long break between the last time the Blues have played compared to now. So I do apologize. That's my error. I forgot that the Knights ended up losing in overtime to those Nashville Predators, a 5-4 win for Nashville against those Golden Knights. But I do want to talk about some things that Bannister said about, the game tonight. And it's, he said, I think Neighbors allows Buchnevich and Thomas to play more direct at times. Robbie and Bushi are two skilled guys that create space for themselves, but Jakey can do a lot of work, whether it's on their line or other lines. I think the thing about Jake Neighbors is, and I think what makes him so special, is that you can put him on any line and he will absolutely dominate and he will bring out the best within his line mates. I think that the way Jake Neighbors is being talked about, again, only 21 years old, very young in his career. He's been playing like a superstar. He really has been. And maybe I'm going out on a limb right now, but I think that Thomas and Neighbors play so well together. Their chemistry on ice is phenomenal that this is a set of guys that you don't want to see apart from each other in those lines. So I think that having Neighbors with Thomas, and listen, I like Boosh. I'm just saying I'm thinking about the future of the team, right? It's just one of those things. Let's go see. Oh, a comment was, hi, what happened to the other one that had this podcast a long time ago? Okay. Hey, welcome. So yes, I'm Haley. I'm your host of Locked On Blues. I've been hosting since June. I got presented with this opportunity. Always been a fan of the Blues. I don't live in St. Louis, but I'm honest about that. And I've always been a fan. So this is a way for me to kind of connect with my fan base. And I love doing this podcast. I love talking about the Blues, even though sometimes they stress me out just a little bit. Actually, a lot of it. But yes, hi, it's nice to meet you. And I hope you enjoy the podcast. And yeah, let's go see. So anyways, going back to tonight's game though, Bannister also commented on Sundqvist, by the way, and said a player like Sundqvist, you're going to have to miss in your lineup. But I think we have some good players that are going to step up. And I think recalling Zach Dean was such a huge decision, right? Putting him back in the lineup. I think that Dean, this is his second appearance wearing the blue note. And the first game that he played, there was a 5-2 win against Ottawa. So, again, last game he played was March 21st. But I feel really good about this lineup tonight. And I think that this is a lineup that is going to bring you a lot of scoring, a lot of good opportunities. The power play still doesn't really get me going with what I'm seeing still. But I think that's just because this team is just not a good power play team, despite how they did against Anaheim. All right, before I continue on with why there is still hope, I'm going to talk to you about my friends over at FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/locked on and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. Continue the push. Why am I saying this? Why am maybe I'm the only person that has a little bit of hope right now? Well, it's because of one thing only. Miracles. Now I get it. Okay. The Blues, let's be realistic here. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. I can at least acknowledge that. But I think that at the end of the day, I have to be a little bit optimistic because what if they do? Or you know what if they come really close to it and we see a good push from the Blues that make us feel good? Oh, the lines have changed actually for St. Louis. So the Blues, instead of being 4.3% chance of making the playoffs, they're now at a 4.4% chance of making the playoffs. Vegas went down, so instead of being 90%, they're now 89%. That's so stupid. But yeah, that's the reality right now is we're really living on the percentages. In net tonight, it's going to be Jordan Binnington. So to answer your question, Joel, I thought it was going to be Hofer too. I really did. But Binnington's in net. Listen, this game is important. I feel like every game is important, but especially when you need every possible point. I think Joel Hofer has been a fantastic backup to Binnington. I really do. But I think you need to put your best guys forward so you can at least give yourself the best shot of walking away with 2 points in regulation. Please. Now, okay. The Flames, if they go to OT against the Flames and win, it's not the end of the world. They're not competing with Calgary for a wild card spot. But going to OT against the Golden Knights, it was brutal because then you're giving at least 1 point to them, and that hurts. So as long as the Blues walk away tonight, or I should say skate away tonight with 2 points, then it's a successful game. What does concern me, though, is you look at the Blues' schedule, and I've talked about this, but you have, the Sharks, you have the Ducks, and then you have other teams that might be a little bit more of a challenge, like the Carolina Hurricanes. You have the Nashville Predators, who cannot seem to lose at all. You have teams that are going to be very challenging, but then you have teams that are very easy. So do you put then Hofer in the net against the Sharks, against the Ducks? Probably yes. Or you're going to put Binnington in the better teams? 100%. But when they play the teams, and this is what I've been saying all season, when they've been playing teams below them, and this is what I've noticed, they play down to them. They're not playing that same dominant force that you saw. I'm trying to think of a good example of a game that when they beat the Bruins, okay? When they were up in the East and they beat the Bruins. They played some really good competitive hockey. But if you notice, the way they played against Boston was not the same way they've been playing against like the Coyotes in the beginning of the season. They played down to their opponent. Good hockey teams, for example, like the Rangers, who have 100 points, who clinch a playoff spot. I think they're the first team to do so, actually, in the NHL right now. They don't play down to their opponents. They play dominant every single game. It does not matter who they're playing. And that's been the problem with St. Louis, is that they continue to play down to their opponent, which then causes them to play some sloppy hockey and to lose these games. You think about it, San Jose, while you might laugh and say, oh, this will be an easy game, the Blues still lost to the San Jose Sharks in the beginning of the season. So while it is, it's just San Jose, it's just Anaheim, is it though? Because this team still lost to some of these teams that you say are the easy teams. Now, the Predators, tough game, understandable. Carolina, beatable, but tough, understandable. But it's all about just remembering one thing. If you want to win, you're going to find a way to win. You're going to go set up for those rebounds. And that's one thing that this team needs to continue to do. Post by the net, because there's been too many instances where I've been watching this offense play very sloppy hockey. It doesn't matter which line it is. It doesn't matter if it's Thomas. It doesn't matter if it's, Shen. It doesn't matter who it is. Hayes' line. Every single line has played so sloppy when it comes to their rebounding. And for instance, against the Golden Knights, I will not forget this because I don't know if it was Sundqvist. I forget who exactly it was. The puck was in front of the open net because Logan Thompson, goalie for the Golden Knights, was posted by the left post. And the puck was there by the right, open net. If a player was there and was able just to, ding it in, ding it in. I don't know why I repeat myself on that one. Take notes, Coach Bannister, then the team would have been able to win in regulation if Vegas didn't end up scoring. And the thing about that game is Jordan Binghamton had such a good game. Just in overtime, he crumbled with the goal that Marchessault scored. But what can you do about that? It's a very frustrating situation, to be honest. And I think I speak for all Blues fans when I say that this team has been nothing but infuriating. But we love them. All right, before I talk about the keys to victory for tonight's game, I am going to talk to you about my friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, what brings home the winning trophy, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, let's go talk more about this game tonight and not having me rant about the frustration I feel when it comes to the St. Louis Blues season. Ooh, okay. So the St. Louis Blues need to get 2 points tonight, 100%. So here's the thing. Let's talk a little bit about last time. Pavel Buchnevich had a good opportunity to get a penalty shot in the game against Vegas in overtime. Obviously, that did not happen. And it just kind of killed, the momentum of the team, and very disappointing not getting those 2 points. Now, here's the thing. The Blues are now 6 points behind the Golden Knights for that wild card spot. However, here's the problem. They need to win against the Flames tonight. Okay? The Flames have not been playing such good hockey, okay? They lost 3-1 to the Blackhawks. And here's the thing. They keep on getting outshot. Now, Flames head coach Ryan Huska says, I don't think we connected at all. We had defensemen and forwards not on the same page and with how they played. In the second and third period, we got better, but I didn't like the way we started. They got outshot 15-5 by the Blackhawks. So overall, they ended up out shooting the Blackhawks 39-27, but still lost. So why am I talking about that game that they had against the Blackhawks? Well, because this team has been struggling, right? Chicago's not a good team. I know they have Connor Bedard, right? The prodigy of hockey. But at the end of the day, it was still a laugh. Now, Kadri, he is a player in the league that I do like, but he is their leading scorer right now of 60 points and probably the biggest threat of an offense, biggest threat offensively that the Flames have. He has done pretty well against the Blues, but again, at the same time, it's not anything crazy. But when you think about the guys that are really, playing well for St. Louis, of course, you have to look at Robert Thomas. You have to look at Brandon Saad. There's a lot of players that have been doing really good. Jordan Kyrou right now has a 3-game point streak. So that is something, too, that's huge. Neighbors has 7 points in his last 7 games with 5 goals and 2 assists. And again, continuing on, the Blues have been 12-4-2 against the Pacific Division this season. So while, at the end of the day, this may not be, the best game because you have two teams that have kind of struggled, I also want to remind you that in the last 7 games, the Blues are 6-1-0 against the Flames. So the Blues always seem to match up very well against Calgary, which kind of concerns me at the same time too, because I'm like, okay, they really need to win. But again, there is a lot of positives when you look at the statistics and you look at, how they're going to be doing tonight. I just really need them to get these 2 points in regulation. And another thing that I want to talk about and what I want to highlight too is that the Flames, despite them being 5th in the Pacific, too many points, out right now from getting a wild card spot. So I'm not necessarily concerned about it from that aspect. I just think that the Blues offense is going to have a really good game tonight. They're going to have plenty of opportunities and plenty of defensive plays tonight that are going to help boost up their confidence against this Calgary offense. So here's the thing, right? We're going to take a look right now. And I know I've been kind of doing this a little bit, but if there was any players on the Flames that concern me, and I'm going to be honest, not really. Dustin Wolf will get the starting net tonight. Markstrom will be the backup. So for me, that makes me feel a little bit better with having Wolf in net and not Markstrom. Other than that, I'm really not concerned. I know Hale get concerned. No, I just can't get concerned. I really don't think that it's going to be that bad of a game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think that the Blues are going to win. I think that yeah, I just think it's going to be a really good game. I think Bucci's going to have a good game, and I feel like Buchnevich is going to get a goal tonight. That's my prediction. So we'll see. Either way, that first line's going to have a really good game with Neighbors. Well, it's Thomas, Buchnevich, and Neighbors. I just want to see Kadri lose to our Blues. I agree, and I'm just saying I like him as a player throughout the National Hockey League. I think that he is a good player, but the Flames don't have much talent. So with Markstrom not being in net, you have Dustin Wolf. And, that's another thing I want to talk about too right now is Dustin Wolf in net because, I hate to pick apart players, right? And he's a young guy, 22 years old. And if you look at him this season, he's only played 11 games. Now, he has been, well, okay. He started in 9, played 11 because you know what happens when you go in those 2 extra games that you don't plan on going into. It's because the other guy got pulled. But he's 3-5 this season and 1 in OT. He has a save percentage of .900. Not bad, but again, think about the fact that he's literally only been playing like 11 games, not even like full games. And he has goals allowed in at 2.94, so almost 3 a game. Well, not 3 a game, but 3, I meant. I just don't think he's that great of a player. I mean, he made his NHL debut with the Flames April 12th of last season, and he had a 3-1 win against the San Jose Sharks. So he had a 3-year entry contract that he signed. And yeah, I mean, listen, he's not a bad player, right? And he's been in the AHL for quite a while developing as one does. But why am I saying this? You have Dustin Wolf in net tonight. This is the Blues' opportunity. You have Jordan Binghamton for the Blues, and then you have Dustin Wolf. So it's a huge difference in players in net tonight. Again, we need that win, St. Louis, and I am hoping for my Are We Feeling Blue Friday, I can say that it's a good night tonight. Because despite the fact that the Blues need a win, the Vegas Golden Knights also play tonight, and they're playing those Winnipeg Jets. So tonight we're going to root for the Jets. The Jets are such a good team. Winnipeg has been outstanding this season. So right now we need the Winnipeg Jets. Those Jets who are third in the Central Division, our division, and we're rooting for them because we know we're not catching up to the Jets. We know that we really can't catch up to the Jets. Yeah, no, that's not happening. So we need them to win tonight. So tonight we're going to root for the Blues and we're going to root for the Jets. And hopefully it will be a victorious day tomorrow when we're only 4 points behind those Vegas Golden Knights. I guess time will tell. I'm going to be a little bit positive and hopefully it will all work out. I really hope so. All right. Also, happy the opening day to all my Cardinals fans. Make sure you check out Locked On Cardinals. Does such a great job covering our Cardinals, and it's a good day to be a St. Louis fan in general. All right, I will talk to you later, and like always, let's go Blues.